2. And welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Gurus. I'm J.O. Quinn here with J.J. Walsh.
Yes,
And
sir.
boy, do we have a second show for you today.
I know it's great to be back for week 2 of our podcast, week 10 of the NFL, though. But it kind of just came out of thin air this time, but we have a lot to talk about.
It really did. We wanted of us to be able to voice our opinions on something we love. We obviously both love fantasy. We hope you guys do too. Um, and we are. We're doing it. Making big plays.
Yeah, we always start with we're going to start with our headliner question. So basically, this is like the main topic that we talk about this week. And it's if you could go back in time and it's fantasy draft week 1, who who goes top 3? I mean, who are your top 3? Like, who was worth it back in the day? All injuries aside, week 1. Who do you think it is, Jay?
Um, well, with our knowledge of how people performed in week 10, that's what we're going off of, because if not, then we would have just picked the same people we picked in the draft.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of simple to me, plain and simple, that you have to either put Kamara or Cook as your number one guy. Right. I mean, I don't see how you can't.
hmm
Right.
Yeah, Cook's a little bit shaky. I mean, even though, um, like, if we're really going off value, even though he's had those back-to-back 48 and 40-point weeks, week 8 and week 9, you have to look at he was injured for 1.5 weeks and he had a bye week. Well, every player has a bye week, but he was out for 1.5 weeks. And at the very beginning of the year, he was putting up 20, around 20 in most of his games. So I mean, if you really want to look at value stretch of the season, like that's what your goal is, as a fantasy drafter. Week 1, I definitely think it's Alvin Kamara. But I mean, yeah, definitely it has to be Alvin Kamara.
So you got Alvin Kamara as your number one
Yeah.
pick.
hmm
You know, you got when you look at a guy like Drew Brees, and he's getting old, and his arm's not what it used to be, and he has a shaky wide receiver core. He's just getting Michael Thomas kind of fully back and healthy. You
hmm
you have to expect that there's gonna be a lot more dump offs, and there's gonna be a lot more usage of Kamara than possibly Cook, when you still got guys like Adam Thielen and an emerging Justin Jefferson on the Minnesota team. Um, but yeah, when you got a guy like Kamara who plays such a crucial role in the infrastructure of an offense like New Orleans, and what Sean Payton is doing there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of that's what I would go with too. But um, those are my top two in that order. I would go Kamara, Cook, and then who is your number three?
Um, I mean, that's really tough. I mean, number 3. I feel number 3, all injuries aside, you go back in time. I feel like 3 could easily be Aaron Jones.
Aaron
Um,
Jones.
Yeah, and I mean, you could make an argument for Stephon Diggs, maybe. But I mean, I feel like it could easily be um it could easily be Aaron Jones.
Well, Aaron Jones is been a little bit shaky this year to me personally. I think that he's obviously a first round pick. If you haven't picked him, maybe, I mean, if he doesn't go in the first round, if you have not a lot of teams in your league, then possibly early second rounder. Um,
Yeah.
but I would have to go with Devonta Adams, and that's only because he missed a collective. He missed 2 weeks and then a bye week, I think. But then after that, like, his value now, I mean, okay, sure, maybe you can find a replacement. Marquez Valdez Scantling played well. Alan Lazard was taking over during that time. So if you put them in instead of Devonta Adams, then you might not even have lost those weeks. And having Devonta Adams still on your team at this point in the season, such a huge piece of your point scoring, because he's gonna. I mean, I'd say his floor right now. I couldn't see him getting less than 20 right now. With the way Aaron Rodgers is targeting him is insane, and they always run a little go route with him in the second quarter at random times, and he always gets it I
Yeah.
feel like so that's an easy 11 points right there from a big catch and a touchdown.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I would have to go with I'd have to go with Adams at 3 personally.
well, I mean, if you want to take injuries into account, I mean, he's put up that had that one monster week 1, then and then week 2 was the week that he got hurt,
Mm.
or maybe it was week 3 because
It was week 2.
week 2 because he
Yeah.
only had like 10 points that game because he got injured halfway through the game,
He had
and
six
so
6 point. He had 3 receptions, 36 yards.
yeah, so I mean, and then injuries held him up. I think he first, I think he was only supposed to be out for like a week because he had turf toe, but then I think he also had a hamstring or a groin injury, so that held him out. But I might have been more than 2. I think you said 2 weeks. It might have been more because I only remember him coming back for. He had that monster week against the Texans on his first week back. So whatever week he played the Texans in between week 2 and the week he played the Texans, that's how
He
long he was
missed
gone.
he missed 2 weeks with the bye, so he missed
So 3 total.
3 total. But everyone on their team missed the bye, so he missed the game against New Orleans and the game against Atlanta. Then he
Okay.
came back and he put up 12 against Tampa Bay, but then he went 45, 30,
Oh
30.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The game he I forgot about Tampa Bay. Yeah,
Yeah, he put up 12, 45, 30, 33. I mean, that's
yeah.
why
The
even
guy's
looking
insane. Yeah,
now, you have those 2 weeks where I mean, at that time, I'm pretty sure that was when Claypool had his big week in week 4,
yeah. There's always
week
going to be
5, I think.
replacements for guys. Yeah,
And if you could have found a good replacement for him, then it wouldn't have been too difficult to
it's totally worth it.
maybe lose 1 or 2 weeks, or maybe even win with a emerging guy like Travis Fulgham, who was coming up at that time. Justin Jefferson, I know, was still on a lot of waivers
Yeah.
back then, but this his
T
value
Higgins
now. T Higgins, yep, T Higgins. Will Fuller is on people's rosters, but that was when he kind of started.
falling off a little bit.
But now he still has that insane touchdown streak. But anyways, his value now is so much that you can ignore those 2 weeks that you could have lost, and
Bingo.
he's just a solid number one guy who's going to get you points. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's the highest projected non-quarterback this week.
Oh yeah, he's like
Um,
23.1 last time I
mhm.
checked. That's
23,
crazy.
yeah, 23.6 now. He went up.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is insane. Uh, just been, I mean, I guess you can know from my team and my injuries that it's just been such a year of uncertainty,
yeah,
and no one could have predicted the amount of injuries that were happening. But I would definitely go Kamara, Cook, Adams as my top 3 if I
yeah.
could go back now.
I'd go Kamara Cook Jones, but I mean
Kamara,
that's
Cook, that's fine. Yeah,
it's a really 50-50 conversation. But now we've dwelled on the past. We've looked back at the draft. We've done our little segment, our headliner. So now we're gonna move on to our 3 booms and our 3 busts. So if you watched our podcast last week, I did the booms and Jay did the busts. So now we're gonna flip it around. I do the busts. He does the booms. So without further ado, you want to start off, Jay?
yeah. I'll go ahead and start off with my first boom. I'm gonna start off with a guy who's a fill-in, and feel like we've seen a lot of fill-in guys this year. Um, on Houston, and that's Duke Johnson. I think that Duke Johnson is on, Black Attack, and Duke Johnson's just such a talented running back.
People forget he was a 1,000 yard rusher last
Yeah,
year.
he's such a talented running back. And then when they made the stupid trade for an aging David Johnson, he kind of fell off a little bit. But if you go to his point log, I mean, you can click on him, try to go to his point log. He's still putting up pretty good numbers. Like even with even with David Johnson there, and he's just like a backup guy. But going against the Browns this week, right?
Hmm.
It's not looking good for the Browns defense with Duke Johnson, who's just such a talented guy.
I
Um,
mean, yeah, Duke Johnson used to be a Brown.
yeah, he's going up against his former team. He knows that Cleveland has been basically purely offense this year. I feel like,
Yeah, they have just an average run defense, and I feel like their pass defense is even worse.
yeah, their pass defense is atrocious. But Duke Johnson is my first boom. I see him getting over 20 this week for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, now on to my first bust. It's actually going to be Giovanni Bernard against the Steelers defense. I feel like Bernard is a more skilled pass catcher than he is a runner, but that's debatable. That's my opinion. But I mean, you can look at that red number one with an ST after it. It's first, and we're at week 10, so that's not just a play around number. That's a real number that, I mean, the Steelers' defense is easily the best in the league right now when it comes to safeties like Minka Fitzpatrick, like making that secondary insane. And then you also have TJ Watt up front. I mean, you have so many stars on that defense. So for a guy who fills in, I mean, he's done a good job filling in for Mixon, but I feel like this is his real test this week. And I feel like he'll bust and he'll be under his projection.
All right, that's good. I could see that happening, but I still see him getting quite a bit of catches from Joe Burrow in
Yeah.
the red zone, especially because he's got some ridiculous amount of red zone targets when he's played from Burrow, and he's finally finding his place in the offense with mixing out. I mean,
Hmm.
he's kind of experienced now with everyone on the team, and so yeah. But I could see that happening. It's a very good Pittsburgh
Yeah.
defense. If you want to stay on my team, actually,
Oh, wow.
my next boom is going to be Terry McLaurin. Actually,
Okay.
um, I changed my team name to Terry McLaurin because I thought this. I mean, his projections went up. And that's just a simple fact. Ignore my my poor running backs. I have McCaffrey and Mixon out this week, so I'm
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean the
struggling with
bench
that.
is just atrocious.
Yeah,
Gurley
look
on
at
a
that.
bye.
But I traded Gurley and Claypool for Michael Thomas, but that's just a finesse. So, anyways, Terry McLaurin going up against a Detroit defense who really I think that the Reds or not, excuse me, the football team is going to put up big numbers against them this week because they finally have Antonio Gibson back. He's finally. I feel like this is one of the first weeks back that he's been fully healthy.
Hmm.
And now that Alex Smith is the quarterback, I have most confidence in Alex Smith over Dwayne Haskins and Kyle Allen any day. So I think that McLaurin will emerge. He's been trending up each week. He went
Hmm.
from a low number to 22 2 weeks ago, and then or 3 weeks ago because they had a bye, and then 24 this past week. I see him getting above 24 this week.
Yeah, I totally can see that. Me and you have been talking the past couple days about how much we love Terry McLaurin. I mean, you look at a guy who at the very beginning of the season was projected 12, 13, 14,
Yeah, I
went
didn't
up to
start him at the
15 a
beginning of the
couple
season.
times, went up
Mhm.
to went down to 13, went to 14, went to 16, went down to 13, but then now past couple weeks he's proven that he's the number one guy, of course, in Washington, and he's really talented. One day maybe he gets traded to a team that has a better quarterback, and he might be one of those top five stars. But for now, he's just Terry McLaurin, and he has a really good chance of booming this week.
Yep.
All right, well, my second bust this week is on my team, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going with DeAndre Swift. Um, the reason why I'm picking DeAndre Swift, he's going up against the sixth run defense. I mean, Swift hasn't, he's had one really good game, and then he's kind of just been hovering around 10 and 15 in that real range. So he's really average, but there's no one, like, you can look, there's no really other option for my running back two that is really edging out um, like my gut feeling of just starting DeAndre Swift. I hope his projections have been going up. He started at 13.5 on Monday, and we're one day out from game day, and he's gone up to 14.9, almost 15. So I hope that's for a reason. I hope that they have a secret, ESPN has a secret little chat with Matt Patricia about him giving more carries to DeAndre Swift, but I don't know. It's a shaky option, but there's just nothing. I don't see him getting a 20-point game unless he just breaks out for like a really good screen pass or a good run. He's just going to hover around 10 or 15 again this week. So, I mean, that's not really I could see him getting under his projection. So, yeah,
Okay,
that's my bust.
I could see that against a decent Washington defense. The Washington defense has proven, even though they obviously played an extremely weak NFC East, that they can stop the run. They can stop the run well, and I think that they're going to have to rely on Matthew Stafford a lot this week to pick up
No
his slack.
Galladay, so it might be a good
Yeah,
idea for someone to pick up a
Marvin
Lions wide receiver if
Jones,
you need someone. Maybe some Marvin Jones. Maybe you could have traded for Hawkinson earlier in the
Hawkinson.
week.
Yep.
Hawkinson's a good guy, but you never know with the Lions offense, who's probably just a little below average.
hmm And plus, the Lions running back like system has been so screwed this year.
Yeah,
They have, I
yeah,
mean, they had Adrian Peterson, DAndre Swift, and someone
carry
else was,
on.
yeah, Kerryon Johnson was getting a lot of carries at the beginning of the year. Now Swift is emerging as the number one guy, but we thought Jonathan Taylor was emerging as the number one guy, and then obviously Naeem Hines had a big week. So I agree with that. You never know. He's been pretty inconsistent, trending upwards, but still playing against Washington. So I can see that happening.
Yeah.
And my final boom is going to be on the team you're playing against.
So
Um,
let's move over to I'm playing
Pearson. Yeah.
Eggless Ranch 42 Doug.
hmm Um,
Don't say it.
my boom is actually going to be Evan Ingram this week. He's going
Mm.
against an extremely poor Philadelphia defense
Against tight ends.
against tight ends. Yeah, against tight ends. They're good against the. They're good. They're decent
They're
against the
average.
run.
They're
They're
average to good against everything else besides tight
yeah,
ends. Yeah.
but tight ends. I mean, you see, they're going up against they're going against Logan Rice and Logan Thomas. Excuse me, not Logan Rice. Logan Thomas and Dalton Schultz, and they're still allowing quite a few points here.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram is, I think, a top 6 or 7 tight end in the league. This year, he's been kind of shaky. I mean, he had a 16-point performance last week.
Yeah.
He had 12 and 11 before that. He's trending upwards quite a bit, and I could see Evan Ingram having a 15-plus point week again.
Yeah. It could easily happen. I'm hoping it not happen because I'm playing against him, but it could easily happen for you Evan Ingram fantasy owners out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to my last of busts. It comes to I'm pretty sure it's real loud. Let me check. No, it is not real loud. It's Tyler Lockett.
Black.
Black. There it is. Same logo almost. I was looking for the logo. So yeah. I mean you look at Tyler Lockett going up against Jalen. I mean, it's either gonna be Jalen Ramsey on DK and Lockett has a really good week, or it's gonna be Jalen Ramsey on Lockett and DK has an amazing week. So you're hoping Jalen Ramsey guards Lockett this week, Jay. And
Well,
so
I think he is because Jalen Ramsey's really fast.
mhm.
He's not the biggest guy, but he's going to keep up with Lockett. I think they're going to put one of their bigger guys on DK, even though he's huge, but he's also fast. So that's why it's such a matchup nightmare for the Rams this week with those two guys. But
Yeah, and I mean you look at it second opposing rank. So if you're going up against a good defense and you have to line up against their best player, which is looks to be Lockett's matchup this week, it's not really looking good for your Lockett owners. I mean, you had that one beast week, 50, and then ever since then it's just been under 10, I'm pretty sure. I think Lockett's had like
it's been DK. It's been DK
it's
time.
been it's been the DK
Yeah.
show ever since he had that really good game against the Cardinals. So I don't see that changing this week, and you don't see that changing either, Jay.
I don't. I don't. I think that he could definitely have. I think 16 is too high this week for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and Chris Carson might not play,
Hmm.
which could be good for him because I mean DJ Dallas will be starting, but Travis Homer's also mixed in, which could be good
Hmm.
for him. But if Chris Carson plays, it's going to be a lot less targets for Lockett because with Carson being out, they've haven't gone to him in the red zone like they normally do to get TDs. They've been going to Metcalf to just reach up and grab balls. And now, if Chris Carson plays, Lockett's losing his one thing that he's good at, which is getting first downs in the middle of the field, which is just receptions and pounding yards. So
Exactly.
I think he could have another sub 10 week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just easily. It's he even though Lockett has been so consistent over his career, I feel like this year he's been so boomer bust, and
Mhm.
I see a bust happening easily.
So that will transition us into our next segment, actually, and that is our top 10 wide receivers for this upcoming week. And Tyler Lockett is not in my top 10.
Me either.
Yep, that's good. I'm gonna
So
start
it's
off with
just
number
rankings.
one. Quite easy, quite simple. I'm assuming you have it number one too. We haven't seen each other's, so we don't
Hmm.
know. But Devonta Adams, number one.
Actually, no. Let's go 10. Let's go 10-1, and we'll each say our
10
list
one.
one
Okay.
at a time. Yeah.
All right. 10 for me is Michael Thomas.
Okay.
9 for me is going to be Robert Woods. And I think that Robert Woods and Cooper Cup could have a big week this
Each
week
20
against the
plus. Yeah.
struggling um, Seahawks secondary.
Not struggling. About to fall apart.
Yeah.
Seahawks
Yeah.
defense.
And then 8, I have D Hop. I
Okay.
think he could be lower on some people's list, could be 9, 10, maybe even off the list. But he had his bad weeks out of the way, I think, and he'll come back and be number 8. Number 7, I have Allen Robinson.
Hmm.
Uh, kind of, I mean, he did average last week. He kind of got around his projections, I'm fairly certain. Last week, you had him as one of your booms, but I think
Hmm.
that he's going to stick around that mark of 17, 18 points, which is solid.
Yeah.
Number 6, I have the other side of the Robert Woods duo and Cooper Cup. In number
Hmm.
6, I really like Cooper Cup this week. I was about to put him on my boom list, but I was just going to talk about him here because it's hard for me to put someone on my boom list when you have someone else like that you're
That
going
could
to.
boom on
That
the
could,
team. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, he's playing against them. Number 5 for me, Scary Terry McLaurin.
Mm.
We just talked about how valuable he is to Washington, and I think it's going to shine through this week against Detroit. Number 4 is Keenan Allen.
Mm.
He's going against Miami. Is that? I'm pretty sure he's going against Miami.
Yeah, he's going against Xavier Howard, which he I mean, he stole DeAndre Hopkins' lunch money
Mm-hmm.
last week. So I'm kind of scared as a Keenan Allen owner
But I
having to go
mean,
against Miami's defense twice. But
but you still have to put him like that's why he's going to be consistently top 4, top 3
yeah,
for me until he proves that he shouldn't be.
yeah.
So that's why he's going to be 4 this week, the lowest one that I was thinking he would be a part of.
Hmm.
Um, and then number 3, I'm going to go DK Metcalf.
Hmm.
As we were saying, we were just talking about Tyler Lockett having definitely a potentiality to bust this week. I'm agreeing with you. And if Chris Carson's back, then I actually think that that's going to be better for DK Metcalf, getting more targets just because Lockett
Yeah.
is going to be guarded so hard by Ramsey in the middle of the field on those little 10-yard slant routes that they run. Um,
Hmm.
Number 2, no surprise for my top 2. Number 2, Stephon Diggs.
Mm.
No explanation there. There's such a talented guy. I still remember my first year of fantasy. I drafted Diggs like 3rd or 4th round. He was still on the Vikings, and like me falling in love with him. So I still like him as a player, but now he has Josh Allen throwing to him, um,
Yeah.
and I think that's a big plus. And then number 1, like I said earlier, Devonta
No
Adams,
brainer.
no brainer.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, it's one of those players that it's you can't see him getting under 20.
I
Like you
can't,
said,
no,
I can't
unless he gets
imagine it.
injured.
I
Unless he
can't
gets injured,
imagine like seeing a 1 in his name
unless
unless it's
it's
like
21.
21 or 31. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um. All right, so that moves me on to my list. My list was, I mean, great minds think alike. My list was very similar to yours. But at number 10, I have Adam Thielen this week. I mean, was having a really good year, but then he's kind of had a rough 3 weeks. But like I said, same thing with D Hop. Hopefully, that's the bad juju out of the way, and you can just rebound against the oh yeah, the Vikings are playing the
They're playing a
Bears. So the
Yeah, they're playing Monday night.
So you never know. I mean, the Bears defense is good, but Thielen's good. So I see Thielen having a good week. And at number 9, I have Cooper Cup. It's a little later on my list
Yep.
because there's that chance that Robert Woods could have a really good week, and plus it's the same. Even though it's a really bad defense, it's the same Cooper Cup that we were seeing putting up 10, 11, and 13 for consistent weeks. Um, and then number 8 on my list is Terry McLaurin. He would be higher, but I mean, there's still that chance. I mean, he's been so solid even with bad QBs, but um, I don't know. I mean, it's just he's their main weapon on offense. I mean, their second, their third. I mean, you have your quarterback, you have Antonio Gibson, then you have Terry McLaurin, and then that's it. I mean, your next best option is maybe an average tight end, Logan Thomas. But if they guard Terry McLaurin, then they're going to have a lot. They're going to have a really hard time gaining confidence. The football team is so. That's why I have Terry McLaurin at 8. Number 7, I have Allen Robinson. I think that's where you had
That's
Allen
where I had
Robinson
him.
too.
Yep.
He's just the guy. I mean, he'll give you 16 plus each week, and he has that chance to give you a 25 plus week. So I also love Allen Robinson. He's kind of like Terry McLaurin. If he got a really good QB, then he would be top 5 in the league. So he's really talented. I like Allen Robinson this week at number 6. I have DeAndre Hopkins going up against the Bills. So he'll have Tre'Davious White on him. Hopefully, Hopkins takes Tre'Davious White's lunch money, flip around from last
Hmm.
week when Xavier Howard took DeAndre Hopkins' lunch money. And then at number 5, I have Julio Jones. Um,
Really?
oh no, they're on the bye. So oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can replace him. So I had honorable mentions. So number 5, I'll put in Michael Thomas. So
That
I
seems really high.
Yeah, no, it's the same Michael Thomas that was an MVP candidate last week. It's the same exact Michael Thomas that we knew from last year. He'd been out for about 6 weeks. He came back last week, played a really good Bucks defense that didn't play well last night, but they played it good against Michael Thomas. But it's going to take a little bit of time for Michael Thomas to regain that chemistry and that confidence in the Saints offense. But I feel like that's going to show out this week. So that's why I have Michael Thomas at 5. And then number 4, I have Keelan Allen, and at number 3, I have DK Metcalf. So we put the exact same people right there. Number 2, I had Stephon Diggs, and number 1, I had Devontae Adams. So I mean, we both had the exact same top 4, and that's for a
Yes, we
reason.
have the same
They're no
exact.
brainers. So there's a lot of really good guys in the league.
There's a lot of good wide receivers this year. I mean, as we can tell, every single person on my list was projected 15.5 or higher.
Yeah, I think the only one
So
below maybe was Thielen on my list,
I think
and that's it.
Steven's 15. He's close around there, I know. But so we're gonna go to our final segment. We're gonna make it a little bit shorter this week. Kind of carried on a little bit, but our final segment is gonna be game picks again.
Hmm.
I'll our next podcast, which hopefully we'll be able to get out Tuesday. Sorry, we didn't get to get out one this week. I had a basketball game. I know you
Yeah,
had a scrimmage as well, so we are going to do these quick. And next week, I'm going to try to tell you what our record was from last week as well as this week. So
yeah,
I'm going to write our picks down right
yeah.
now.
So
So
I chose 5 games for us, Jay, for
mhm.
us to pick our winner, and then also for one of us to, I mean, for each of us to choose our game of the week. So I chose this week. I chose the Vikings Bears on
Okay.
Monday night to be one of the games that we pick, and then I did the Cardinals Bills as another game that we can pick. Then I'm also going to do Seahawks Rams as another game we're going to pick. Then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do Panthers Buccaneers as another game we're going to pick. And then lastly, I'm going to do Giants Eagles. So that's 5 teams. So we'll go in order from what I said last to what I said first. So we'll start out with the Eagles Giants.
I have the Eagles winning this one
What's your score?
because, well, let me just tell you why
Oh,
first.
yeah, yeah, you're good.
Miles Sanders.
Mm,
Miles Sanders simply is back. They've been without him. They've been having to rely on their guys. Also, they have. I mean, you never know. Goddard could break out. He's coming off an injury that kind of restricted him a little bit, so Goddard could pop off this week. But I have the Eagles winning this one, 27-17.
okay, that's not bad. I'm going with the Eagles because I think it's gonna be close, but I feel like there's gonna be a lot of field goals and not a lot of touchdowns because the game is in New York. So um, I feel like there'll be a lot of field goals. It won't be that much scoring. It'll be kind of be a pound. I think whoever has the most rushing yards between, even though Devonta Freeman is not that good, whoever has the most rushing yards between Devonta Freeman and Miles Sanders wins that game. And so that's why, and 80% of the time, Miles Sanders is going to have more rushing yards than Devonta Freeman. So that's why me and you both took the Eagles. I have them winning 19-13.
And Devonta Freeman is not playing. I'm
Really?
pretty
Oh,
sure. I think
so
he's on IR. Yeah,
so that means Wayne Gallman
Wayne Gallman,
is
which
gonna.
I like better than Devonta Freeman
I
personally.
might actually pick up Wayne Gallman maybe if it will let me.
Maybe we'll see. But yeah, I have the Eagles winning that one. So who's your next one?
Because if Devonta Freeman gets put on IR, then that means he has to be there for at least 3 weeks. So that means Wayne Gallman might be a guy. But
Never know. You
all
never know.
right, moving on to our next pick, which is the Panthers Bucks.
Panthers, Bucks. Um, I have the Buccaneers in this one quite a bit, but because McCaffrey's out, obviously.
Mm,
Buccaneers defense, I was expecting them to contain McCaffrey, and now that he's out, Mike Davis is going to be a little bit easier to contain. The Buccaneers are coming off an embarrassing loss, which I know
very.
I picked the Saints to win. You picked the Buccaneers to win last week, so I got you on that one. I kind of thought that was going to happen, but super embarrassing loss for Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. And I think
Yeah.
they're going to come into Carolina and they're going to wreck shop. I have them winning 34-17.
Yeah, that's why I feel like the Buccaneers are gonna be a little bit shaky after that really embarrassing loss. That's why I'm actually going with the Panthers this week. I'm going with the Panthers because they gave a really good fight to the Chiefs last week with McCaffrey, but Mike Davis could easily have a good game. I hope he doesn't. But Teddy Bridgewater, I mean, he has DJ Moore, he has Robbie Anderson, he has his legs. Teddy Bridgewater is on a roll right now. He is a very good QB, and he's proven that. Um, he's definitely breaks my top 12 if we did QB rankings. He would definitely be there in the top 12 for me this week. So I like the Panthers putting it to the Buccaneers. I have it 21-14.
I think it will be a landslide for the Bucks, so it'll be interesting. One of us will be completely wrong,
One
and
of
the other
us will
will
be
be
right.
totally right. Yep.
Yeah.
So
All right,
next
moving on to the
game,
Bills and Cardinals.
Bills and Cardinals. This was my game of the week, so I'm
Ooh,
really excited to watch this one.
okay.
Um, I have the Bills winning this one, and let me tell you why. The Cardinals were in my top 6 power rankings, and the reason for that is that they're so talented offensively. It's hard to not put them there. I mean, Kyler Murray would be number 1 in my quarterback rankings this week, and Josh Allen would be number 2, which is interesting. So it's gonna be a great battle of quarterbacks. But the fact that Murray uses his legs a little better than Allen, and he has D Hop who's coming off a terrible game, who's gonna emerge this week. I think I have the Bills winning this one though because I mean, as they showed last week, they can just blow people out if they want to, and it's going to be a really good game to watch. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be high scoring. Um, I think it's going to be 28-24 for the
All
Bills.
right. Yeah, I'm going with the Cardinals. I mean, the Bills, they're such a good team coming off beating the Seahawks, but I think that's mainly because the Bills' offense. The Bills' defense has kind of fell off a little bit from their reputation of being one of the best in the league. I think they're still top five, but more on the 5 and 6 range. Um, but I feel like the Cardinals' offense, coming off kind of an embarrassing loss against the Dolphins, even though the Dolphins are a good team, kind of embarrassing to their organization. But I love the Cardinals this week. Kyler Murray playing against him, but I mean, you can't really root against Kyler Murray. You know he's going to have a really good game. I mean, it's Kyler Murray. He's putting up an MVP season right now. He's really good. You have Kenyon Drake who might not play, so you're going to have Chase Edmonds who they might not work as much because Chase Edmonds didn't do that much with his volume last week. So I think they're going to throw the ball more. Christian Kirk's very good. DeAndre Hopkins, hopefully he emerges. We both were talking about that, but yeah, it just depends. But I got the Cardinals this week, 38-31.
All right. Yep, I think it's gonna be a close game. We both have it being close games, but
One
I like that
possession
we're getting
games.
I
Yeah.
like that we're getting different sides of the spectrum here, so we
hmm
can say these right or wrong. Is your next one was
Rams and Seahawks. I'll pick this one first this
yeah? You go
time.
ahead and pick that one first.
I have um I have the Seahawks rebounding. They lost a close game, or not really close. They kind of made it look closer than it was. The Bills were blowing them out, and then they kind of came back. But the Seahawks, I feel like they have a rebound week. Like I said, they're going to be clamping on Tyler Lockett. Chris Carson might not be back, so you're going to have a mediocre person in the backfield. So it's going to be all up to Russell Wilson, that offensive line, DK Metcalf, and if their defense can maybe make something happen. I mean, the defense has just been treacherous. So if they can just do something and hold the Rams to 20 or 24 points, then they'll easily win this game. But if they let the Rams offense take over this game, then they're done. The game's ruined. So, but
Um,
I have the Seahawks this game 24-14.
you think it's gonna be that low scoring, huh?
Yeah, I feel like for some reason the Seahawks defense will clamp.
All right. I have the Rams winning this one at home,
hmm
in their beautiful, beautiful stadium,
SoFi Stadium.
SoFi Stadium. I have the Rams winning this one. Very close, high scoring game. I think that I think that the Seahawks defense is just they haven't shown me that they can defend a team like the Rams yet. I mean, the Rams, which is debatably a better offense than the Bills.
hmm
I mean, because at least you have Daryl Henderson and Malcolm Brown as your two instead of um, Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. And so
hmm
I like the Rams in this one. I think this is going to be the most point total of the week. Two amazing offenses. I still think the Seahawks are going to put up good numbers. Obviously, I think DK and Lockett are going to combine for a few touchdowns together.
hmm
Um, but like I was saying, I really like Cup this week. I really like Cup and I really like Woods. And I got the Rams in this one, 41-34. So
I want to change my scoring actually. I want to change my scoring to 38-27 Seahawks.
okay, that sounds more reasonable than what you said before.
Yeah.
So final game, Vikings Bears, right?
hmm Monday night prime time.
You want to go? You want to pick this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Vikings on this one. The Vikings are 2-0 in their past couple weeks. They've been on fire, beating a good Packers defense, um, mainly because of Dalvin Cook. But their defense also held the Packers to 22 points that game, and then um, they also handed it to the Detroit Lions last week. With of course Dalvin Cook being the main reason why they won, but they're just on a roll right now, and confidence is huge in the NFL. So um, I see them giving it to the Bears, who are 0-2 in their past couple weeks. Actually, no, the Bears were. I think the Bears were 4-0 or 5-0 at one point.
They lost to the, and then they lost to that close game to the Saints, and they
Yeah,
lost to
they've
the
lost three in a row. They've lost 3 games in a row. So they're cold, and the Vikings are hot. So that's the main reason why I think the Vikings are going to win this game. It's going to be the battle of the defenses, though. If the Vikings can show up, the Bears already have a good solidified defense, but I think the score of this game will be 24-14.
I got the Bears in this one. Obviously, I think Dalvin Cook is such a good guy. I mean, we were talking about him in the first section. I think
What a good guy.
what a good guy. I mean, good guy, good player. Oh, just good person in general. But
Oh yeah.
I have the Bears Monday Night Prime Time in the Shy in the Windy City, and the reason I do is because yes, they have been playing. I wouldn't say poorly lately because they had to play against the Rams, Saints, and Titans back to back to back, which
Yeah.
is probably the toughest 3 game schedule of this season for any
But I
team.
mean, you have the Colts handing it to the Titans, so the Titans aren't really the powerhouse that we thought they were.
Well, that was against the Colts team, who I think is gonna
Top
win the
7.
AFC South.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be the Titans, but um, I do have the Bears in this one. They're gonna rebound. Um, you know, it's gonna be low scoring, I think, because Dave Montgomery is out.
Oh.
So I still have them winning though, but Dave Montgomery is out. Um, as of right now, I think he might be questionable, but projected 0, so that is never a good sign, obviously. But let me just fact check myself on that. Dave Montgomery is out. Yes, he is.
I'm looking at their depth chart real quick to see who the backup running back is.
It's Cordell Patterson.
Really?
It is. It's Cordell Patterson. Right there, yeah.
Cordell Patterson is a running back. They might throw the ball a lot then.
That's what
Wow.
I'm saying the Bears need to do in the first place. That's why I think they're gonna win. You just led me on to my next point. Thank you.
Yeah, they're
Yeah. Nick Foles, he's proven himself to be a starter in the league, and I'm proud of him. He shows that season with the Eagles wasn't a fluke. As Kevin says from The Office, a fluke is the most common fish in the sea. So if you go fishing, chances are you might find one. But Nick Foles, A-Rob, Jimmy Graham is
Mooney.
good. Darnell Mooney, yep, you know him pretty well. Darnell Mooney, they're going to have a good game. Low scoring, I believe. I still think I have the Vikings only scoring 2 touchdowns, but I think they're both from Dalvin Cook. So I have the Bears winning this one 24-17.
So we both basically have the same scoring but flipped.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let me write that. I have all of our picks
That's
down
good.
here. So just to recap, I have the Rams, you have the Seahawks. I have the Bears, you have the Vikings. I have the Bills, you have the Cardinals. I have the Buccaneers, you have the Panthers, and we both have the Eagles.
So yeah, look at that.
The
It's gonna be someone's gonna
the
blow
Eagles.
someone out.
Yeah,
in the picks.
someone's gonna go. Someone's gonna go. I mean, one in, or we could both go 0-5. Actually, no, we can't. But we could both lose the Eagles game. So I'm trying to say, but it's a guaranteed blowout for one of us to the other. That's
Someone
what we
could
like
go
here.
0-5. Yeah, someone
Mm.
could.
I didn't write the points down, but you heard them, so we can always come back if we need to check.
Yeah,
But I'll
for
go
sure.
back. I'll go back to last week, see what our points were there. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for um, podcast 2, week 10 of the NFL. Yep, we got it done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully we can get out an episode this next Tuesday. We'll see what we can do. I do have a basketball game on Tuesday. So if we could record that on Monday, because we can look at projections on Monday, then
Yeah,
that'd be
my
fantastic.
Monday
Maybe we
night
can
might be better because I think I do have my first game of the season Tuesday.
but we'll post it. I'll post it on Tuesday so it can be out like it would normally would. But
For sure.
yeah, we're gonna sign off for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and make sure you come back. Peace.